wreath-laying ceremony of Major Mukund Vardarajan and Sepoy Vikram Singh, who were killed in Shopian encounter in J&K, was held at Srinagar early this morning. The bodies of the two Jawans will be flown out of Srinagar later today. Major Vardarajan's body will be sent to his home in Chennai. Sepoy Vikram Singh's body will be sent to his home in Rewari in Haryana. Both leave behind wives and children.
Several hours into the fierce encounter in Shopian, there seemed to be a lull in the storm. The building in which three militants were hiding had been brought down at 7:30 p.m. last night. It was time to check. The task fell upon this man, 31-year-old Sepoy Vikram Singh of the Rajput regiment. Vikram was the first to enter what was left of the building at about 9:30 last night. All of a sudden, emerging from underneath the rubble was a militant who everyone thought had been killed. The young Jawan was hit by a volley of bullets and died on the spot. He leaves behind a wife and a son. With the situation now critical, Major Mukund Vardarajan rushed in, but also fell to a hail of gunfire. The 31-year-old officer serving with the Rashtriya Rifles was evacuated to Srinagar, but his injuries were too severe. He leaves behind a wife and a 2-year-old daughter in Bangalore. The encounter started on Friday afternoon after forces received a tip-off about the presence of three militants at the Karewa Manlu village in Shopian. By 4:30 p.m., our soldiers had closed in and were locked in a fierce gun battle.
And my colleague Nazir Masoodi is now joining me from Srinagar for more on that. Nazir, the Major Vardarajan had in fact been in the valley now for the last year and a half. What's the word that you're hearing over there?
Well, there was a wreath-laying ceremony at Army's 15 Corps headquarters, and talked to every Army officer or a soldier here. He would talk about the virtues of Major Vardarajan, how he would behave with not only with his soldiers but with the common people to win their hearts. But all happened on Friday when the army and police laid the siege around Karewa Manlu village, and when they actually blown up the house, and the soldiers thought that all the three militants holed up in that house were killed, and the bodies, they went there as part of mopping up operation to retrieve the bodies. But one militant, he rose from the rubble and started firing indiscriminately. Spy Vikram Singh fell to the bullets, and when he got critically injured, Major Vardarajan immediately rushed here to pull him back. But at that time, when he tried to pull his Jawan back, pull his Jawan's body, injured Jawan, what happened? He faced many volley of bullets, and he was critically injured. He was shifted to hospital, where he was declared broad dead. Major Vardarajan was actually commissioned in the army in 2006, and he was in the army's war college Mao. There he was instructor there as well. So since December 2012, he was here in Rashtriya Rifles and was serving in South Kashmir, which is militancy infested. Just day before this incident, there was attack on a polling staff bus, in which one polling officer was killed. Ziaul Haq, a local teacher, he was killed in that attack, and 5 more security force personnel were injured in that attack. Next morning, police and army received the information about presence of militants in Karewa Manlu village, which is again in Shopian, and they laid the cordon. And once they thought the operation is over, and they presumed all the militants were killed, one militant was surviving under the rubble, and he emerged from that rubble debris and killed first the Jawan. And when the officer Major Vardarajan, Mukund Vardarajan, rushed to pull his body, he suffered a volley of bullets. So his body is being flown back to his home. First it will reach to Delhi this afternoon, and then it will be sent to back to his home, where final funeral ceremony will take place.
All right, Nazir, thanks for all of those details of that particular incident. We're also now joined by retired Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain, who is the former 15 Corps Commander, retired Lieutenant General of the former 15 Corps Commander. Sir, thank you for speaking to NDTV. If I could just start by asking you, we've seen that Valley has been more or less peaceful for quite some time, but there have been stray incidents of militant activity in the area. What's your assessment of the situation on the ground?
Well, I think this encounter is not something out of context with the situation at the moment. We were all expecting that there would be a fair amount of turmoil and turbulence in the valley in the lead up to the elections. And what has happened in Shopian is exactly what was predicted.
Sir, if I could just, I know you're saying that, encounters is not necessarily, is also, often we see incidents of encounters. But do you feel that given that the situation in the valley has been more or less peaceful for quite some time now, do you still feel that the army needs to play a major role on the ground?
Absolutely. I have always been insisting on it. If you feel that the situation on the ground is normal, by just reading into the statistics of the encounters in the past 6 months or so, that would be the worst way of actually studying the situation. There is so much more below the surface which is there. There may not be too many terrorists which are registered and known to us, but we are aware that below the surface there is a lot of things which are happening there. And that is why I always insist that the army has a greater role, and the army must continue to play its traditional role which it has been playing for all these years. And I can predict that this is not the end of the encounters. It has just started. The summer has just begun. The passes are still closed. And you'll probably find that as we go along into the summer, many more such events are going to take place.